Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Do your toenails get thicker as you get older?
I hope
Isn't
that's
that gender
why.
specific?
I
We
don't
don't know.
know. I just clipped my toenail for the first time in a while because it was getting long, and it was like a thick boy. It's tough to get through.
Welcome to Highly Questionable.
Come
I'm Dan
on!
Lebitard. This is Katie Nolan and Pablo Torre. Let's get started.
I hate it here.
The WikiFeet universe is going nuts.
I'm gonna lose my 5-star rating.
Do you believe Bruce Arians when he says that he and Tom Brady are fine?
Oh, really? We're going to start this? This seems to be badgering Patriot fan Katie Nolan here. I remind you, incidentally, if you make a big deal about the fact that Arians dared to say out loud that pick six was the fault of Tom Brady, put my name on it. Bill Belichick blamed Brady for Deflategate, like took the press conference questions and threw them over to Brady. This is not that, but let's hear from Arians laughing off the suggestion.
Tom and I are fine, so I don't really care what other people think. So it's just what he and I think. And, we left the stadium fine. We showed up today fine. So there ain't nothing to talk about.
There is a lot of pressure on both of these two human beings, one of them dealing with mortality, the other being Tom Brady. And so what you have right in front of you is basically how the season needed to start for us to start with these questions, where Tom looks old, where you get a pick six situation, but he's in good hands with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is a good manager of people, and he's got good weapons all around him. If Tom Brady fails this year, it will be because of Tom Brady.
Let's go ahead and first point out that Bruce Arians in a fitted looks completely different than Bruce Arians in a Bruce Arians hat, which I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's just an Arians hat, and I don't think I like it. Those are just my personal notes. Also, my personal notes, I understand that we're all talking about this relationship between Tom and Bruce because of the post-game comments, but during the game, you could tell, especially if you've watched a lot of Tom Brady, you could tell that he's not as thrilled with that situation as he would like to be. There were a lot of stupid penalties in that game that just felt like things that didn't happen in New England. Now, I'm not going to act like I know why, but I do know that before Tom went to Tampa Bay, one of the things people said he was really interested in was that, like, Bruce Arians will let you have a day off. He's a more laid back coach. He's like a player's coach. And I think that maybe Tom didn't take into consideration the things that you're going to miss out on, because he kind of took him for granted when he was in New England. So you could see him getting frustrated with, like, receivers jumping off sides and little things that kept pulling away from the momentum.
That's not going to play 8 games in with Mike Evans. That stuff of yelling at the receivers, that's not going to work so well there in
Well,
game
I mean,
8.
I guess we're going to have to see. But, like, Tom Brady is an intense guy who wants to compete. He's obviously also getting older. And as he gets older, his talent is going to eventually decline. So he's going to need his system to help work with him. You know, it's interesting to see Arians on Sunday blamed Tom Brady for both interceptions. Then he sort of moonwalked and was like, well, that first one was Mike Evans' fault. So it's like he's telling it like it is, but he almost told it like it is too mean at first. He's too quick to call out Tom Brady. But we all subscribe to this world where coach speak is the thing we hate, but also beg coaches to use all the time.
But hold on. The question, I think, is, does Tom Brady still really dig Bruce Arians? And hearing Katie talk about the hats and the switching and hearing the quotes that Bruce Arians has given criticizing Tom Brady, I'm realizing that Bruce Arians isn't even so much a quarterback whisperer as he is a quarterback pickup artist. Like, these are classic pickup artist maneuvers. You have
Why
a
do you know
conspicuous
that?
hat to peacock. I'm just saying,
Yes,
I
to
may have
peacock. Yes.
may or may not have studied the PUA community, but you have a peacocking hat, you neg. That is basically Bruce Arians saying,
Wow.
hey, Tom, your roots are showing
That's
about his
unbelievable.
routes. This is a neg. This is a classic pickup artist maneuver. And I think Tom Brady loves Bruce Arians and also is going to throw for like 300 yards next week because he buys into this whole method.
This is crazy, Katie, because you're having the same reaction I am. Wow, Pablo was reading books on the science of how to pick up
What
women.
was that guy's name?
We're really burying the lead here.
What was that guy's name?
You mean The Game by Neil Strauss? It is a work of journalism that
It isn't.
entertained anthropologically because I wanted to merely observe how these disgusting men
What was
were
the
using
name of
psychological
what was the name
trickery.
of the mystery guy, the guy who wore the top hat?
Mystery?
Mystery.
Mystery.
Yeah, what
The
was the
mystery
name of
method?
the mystery guy?
The question is, if Bruce Arians is mystery, does that make Byron Leftwich Matador? Because that his accomplice on the pickup artist of the show.
Reddit's
there's
gonna love this.
just a lot of parallels I'm seeing.
So Pablo, do you think that you think Bruce Arians is walking into practice and being like, "Hey Tom, those shoes look comfortable. Hey Tom, you're playing really well for a guy who suffered what he suffered in New England."
Tom, I really like your shirt. I just saw someone else wear it actually.
Yeah.
Tom, you should smile more. You should...
Yeah, Tom, that haircut's really practical.
How much pressure should Baker Mayfield be feeling tonight against Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
All right,
What?
my radio producer, Mike Ryan, he is a Browns fan. His abuelita at a dollar store many years ago bought him a dish, and it was Browns related. And his entire professional lifetime, going 20 years now on the radio with us, they've never won an opening game in his lifetime. This year, they failed spectacularly at the very start, and Baker Mayfield is in trouble. Baker Mayfield has gone from someone who was very accurate to someone that we are looking like we do not trust. Odell Beckham has disappeared there. They have a lot of skill position talent. They have a lot of young talent. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a referendum, as much as I am not to hyperventilate from game to game in this league about this quarterback and how loud the noise gets around him.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield is playing in the NFL like I am playing these newer versions of Madden. Like I used to be really good at Madden.
Pablo,
Then
you're
they
trash.
How dare you?
You're
That is
absolute
not true.
trash.
The point is, Katie, I was better before. As much as you want to throw shade at my
Okay.
abilities, given our history playing Madden together, which is, again, defamatory, I am worse now because I think the controls changed, the buttons changed, and I never learned how to do it. And Baker Mayfield is still trying to do what I would do. He's trying to break out of the pocket on every play, like Michael Vick, like Lamar Jackson, and then just chuck it downfield like Pat Mahomes, except none of it's working, and it's very transparent that he is now behind everybody else. So for me, this game actually is kind of a terrifying, scared straight moment for Joe Burrow. Because Joe Burrow across the way is the guy who now has everything. Baker Mayfield has commercials, was once that guy. Now Joe Burrow is going to look across and be like, wow, that could happen to me.
And fast.
Just so
Very
we're clear,
fast.
if Baker Mayfield were playing football the way that Pablo Torre plays Madden,
Come
he
on.
would scramble out of the pocket to the sideline and then user spin, and that would be
Wow.
it. for
Pretty
the
much exactly
entire
what he's
play.
doing.
I have
That's pretty
no
much exactly what he's
idea
doing right now.
how you see any similarities in their game. Either way, both of you, the Browns and you, Pablo Torre, need to establish a run game. You have running backs. Like, take some of the pressure off of Baker Mayfield. I don't know what's going to fix it, but I know that not running the ball is certainly not going to help. The thing I'm most disappointed in tonight, and it's not the 6,000 fans that are going to be present, which to me seems worse than just leaving the stadium empty. But what I'm most disappointed in is that the Browns cut their kicker, Austin Siebert, and then he got picked up by the Bengals, but now I think the Bengals kicker is back. I think Randy Bullock's going to play tonight. So I was really looking forward to a kicker revenge game, which is famously the best kind of
Wow.
revenge game there is out there. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get that tonight.
Pablo, hold on. I know you want to get in here and you're going to start
Yeah,
yammering in
just-
defense of
I
your video game skills.
am
Hold on just
good.
a second. Katie, do you beat him up when you're playing against each other?
Yes.
Like you've told him to establish
Smoked.
a running game. Smokes you? She smokes you, Pablo. Good Lord, dude.
The
You should be
new
ashamed
Madden
of
wants you to
yourself.
run the football, and that's not fun. I want to roll out to the sideline with Ryan Tannehill and throw a bunch of, unfortunately, interceptions.
She
That
thinks
is-
you're
that
a
part's true.
reckless player, an inefficient player. You can't defend yourself.
You juke ghosts.
Stop negging me.
Coming up next on my son's TV show.
Dan, I think it was very lovely of you to wax poetic about the magazine industry and how he found the time to do a photo shoot. I will say we also have evidence of you being a fashion icon.
Do you question if Josh Bogan is better at quarterback or linebacker?
All right, so this is high school football, and Josh Bogan is listed at 240 pounds. He's 6'2", but
I hate you.
I don't know if can you play that in slow motion real quick, just because it looks like it hit so hard it severed his head.
Either way, a linebacker wearing the number 3 is very off-putting. I find that very uncomfortable.
Josh Bogan lost that game 33-6.
Oh, what? Sorry, that is not a post note. That needs to be right up front. He lost the game 33-6?
This wildly indulgent football coach will not stop playing this dude at quarterback, but he is absolutely producing great content.
Yeah, no, I respect it. It's all about going viral. It's not really about wins.
We're the problem with what's happening with highlights in America. We
Yeah.
celebrate. Look at all the attention we gave that kid. His team scored 6 points and allowed 33 when he was out there linebacking.
Do you question if Christian McCaffrey is a fashion icon?
All right, it has been really sad, among a bunch of different sad things at this point in America, to see the way that the magazine industry has sort of died. And yet, here we are in a situation where it is somehow worth the time of Christian McCaffrey to do this photo shoot for GQ magazine.
No.
Is he a
No.
fashion
No.
icon?
No.
Wow.
Get
look
it?
at
No.
Look.
Sensuality.
Ooh.
Oh, what's that teacup supposed to signify?
Oh.
Sensuality and grit. Wow.
That's me.
Look at
That's
Clifford's-
me ordering
look at-
room service at the Four
Look-
Seasons.
He is
Look at
playing
that.
the game the
Yes.
right way.
What is he doing out
Man.
there in that chair, just sitting in a field?
Just being shirtless. What part of this do you not understand?
How-
Just sitting there being Christian McCaffrey.
What I don't understand is how we can wonder if you're a fashion icon when in 3 of those 4 pictures he has no shirt
right.
on. That's you have
Abs
to wear
of the fashion
clothes
icon.
to be a
Abs,
fashion
and
icon.
The cowboy hat. Was he wearing a napkin?
It was like a
Yes.
kerchief.
He's a sneaky fashion icon.
No.
He's a sneaky athletic player, sneaky fashion icon. Deceptive speed, by the way, all throughout that. Really impressive to see.
He's got a lot of
Jim Rat.
grit.
Can we go back a second? I just want to see. I want to examine the second shot, not the first one. The cowboy hat is pretty funny by itself. And also, yeah, there it is. Thank you. Yes, I'm just saying, if you go, that's fine. That speed is actually fine, because the faster that you do that, the more that it looks like what I thought it was supposed to represent.
Can you pop the cowboy one up for 1 second? Keep pounding.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Keep pounding. He also is doing the thing that girls that were on dance team or cheer did in high school, where you take your jeans and you fold the top of them
Yeah.
to make your shorts even shorter. You don't have to do that anymore because now shorts just come with the butt cut out, so you don't have to hike them up. But Christian is still keeping that alive, and I respect it.
Yeah, what's it called? Those things that are carved out at your hips when you have muscle. If and when you have muscle, it's like
the D'Angelo
thing.
muscle, the
yeah,
D'Angelo
the D'Angelo
lines.
muscles. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I do not believe that is the
That's the
scientific
medical term. The
term.
D'Angelo.
Yes.
Pablo,
The
text Tony.
D'Angeloids.
Text Fauci and see if it's called D'Angelo lines, because I'm
Yeah, I think
fairly
it's-
certain that they are.
That is what Pablo thinks he looked like when he was reading the book of pickup lines that schooled his performance so that he would be an expert lurer of women.
A
It was about
shirtless cowboy.
People who use pickup lines. I wasn't actually learning.
No,
pickup
sure, it was
lines. There's a
investigating.
huge
It was for your
difference.
podcast. We know.
Journalism.
Dan, I think it was very lovely of you to wax poetic about the magazine industry and how he found the time to do a photo shoot. I will say we also have evidence of you being a fashion icon.
What?
That's right.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. Look at that giggling. Oh,
This-
look at the giggling over there. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep, this is
Oh,
your
that's-
spread from
Yes.
Better Homes and Gardens.
Mm.
Really?
A little lopsided there. You should don't
That-
skip the left side of your body.
That
It's
was
important.
a tattoo on my left arm. That's
Yeah.
right. I have one of those, a big blue tattoo.
That's right. That's right. I remember when you got that.
Tonight at 7 p.m. on ESPN, Game 2, Heat and Celtics.
All right, so
Whee!
very often I will wave off the idea of intangibles when Stan Van Gundy says something like the Miami Heat are tougher than the Boston Celtics. I usually would dismiss that, except when you're talking about toughness as it manifests itself in places like around the rim. Jason Tatum, at the end of regulation in that first game, took a shot from 27 feet out. This is how Jimmy Butler was going to get the lead against Jason Tatum at the rim, and this play was not talked about. Got him off of him with his shoulder. You don't get shots that late in the game at the rim. That's the reason you don't, because it's hard to do, because you get bloody down there and things like that happen. So this is going to be a fun series. A lot of that in this series, Tatum against Butler. Pablo, are you intrigued?
I am very intrigued. No less than Magic Johnson called that block the greatest block he has ever seen in his life, which is notable because Magic Johnson has seen a lot of basketball, knows a lot of basketball. And also, he said it on Twitter, which represents a giant departure from his usual approach to just saying things as blandly as possible. Magic Johnson, including an opinion like that, breaking his character somehow, is the greatest accomplishment of that block, in my opinion.
Oh, see, I would argue, I know you're going to ask me if I'm intrigued. Sorry, I always cut you off. Yes, Dan, I'm very intrigued. I would argue that's not him breaking from his normal thing. His thing is to tweet.
Are you intrigued,
Yes,
Katie?
I said yes. He's tweeting, he only tweets facts, and he tweeted a fact. He says the greatest block. He said that it was, I forget what word he used, but he said it was great, and that means that's a fact. Of course I'm intrigued. Of course I'm going to watch this game. There are so many moments in that game that, like, you thought were going to be the moment we were going to talk about, like Butler's and one, but then, like, right after it, another moment happens, and you're like, well, now it's that moment. But, like, a series like that, what a joy to watch. How exciting.
Why are you challenging my journalism? Why do you challenge my journalism? I'm describing
Well, you just made a point
again.
that I made yesterday on this very show. So I just felt like maybe I should help you out by letting you know that this has literally already been said on these airwaves.
Thief, unoriginal thief.
I was trying to help
Which do you want?
Steal from me.
Which do you want?
I have not finished my reporting on this week's episode, so I apologize.
Of course. You're very thorough.
Tonight on E, the Bradshaw Bunch.
Oh, Terry Bradshaw. He can be revealing. He's an interesting character. He will talk to you about his vulnerability and his depressive state. Long before that was something that a lot of people were doing of that age. Let's see what we've got here from Terry Bradshaw reality show. Bless you, Katie. I'm sorry. Are you allergic to Terry Bradshaw reality shows? Let's see what we have here. No, in fact, don't apologize. Just please, producers, let me pause and filibuster for a second so you guys can replay again in slow motion again and again her sneezing.
I was hoping you would get to the video quickly.
Always funny when someone sneezes or coughs. Let's check in with Terry Bradshaw. Yes. All right. Boobs at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020. Pablo, speaking of boobs, are you intrigued?
I am intrigued. I don't know much about what this show is actually going to be like. I just know that it's going to be wildly successful based on everything I know about the country we live in. I just want to buy stock in this entire business at this point.
Katie, how about you? Are you intrigued?
Yes, I'm intrigued. After looking at Terry Bradshaw's interior decorating, I'm interested to find out if he in fact owns a small pony, because that with a house like that, you have to have a small pony.
If I'd asked you guys before we saw it, if I said to you guys, I want you to imagine the life of Terry Bradshaw. Is it shirtless, coming rolling through the kitchen and just yelling "Timmy" at wherever his wife is? You'd say, yeah, that's absolutely how he lives.
Somewhere in this house, I don't know where because it's in a box. I have a framed piece of Terry Bradshaw's gum that he took out and stuck backstage on the first show that I worked on. And I love Terry Bradshaw. Well, I love Terry Bradshaw so much. I used to rub it every time before I walked out on set. And it was old. And so then when the show got canceled, as shows do, the stage manager scraped it off and put it on a card and gave it to me. It was very sweet. I have it
Pablo,
somewhere.
Katie thinks none of that's airing.
No, of course I think it's airing. I love Terry Bradshaw.
Our work is done here. If you want more of these two, Pablo Torre on the overproduced ESPN Daily and Katie Nolan, sports with a question mark.
Underproduced. Our episodes are 2 hours long. Nice kip up.
Excellent work.
Did you guys see me diving over my couch?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Wonderful.
I think I pulled my arm muscle,
Really
whatever that one's
strong.
called.
Yeah, that one muscle there
You
in your
went
arm.
for the joke and you got it.